Hello and welcome to NYSC Half Hour. I am Coco Hensher. Today's episode takes us to the commissioning of the NYSC Museum of Dynamic History, which is built to preserve the treasures and artifacts of the scheme from time memorial. Not only does it serve as a reminder of what the scheme has achieved so far, it documents the rich history of the scheme and core members' contribution to national development. Come along with us. The Director PRS NYSC, Alhaji Ahmed Wada Ikaka, gave the opening remarks at the commissioning of the NYSC Museum of Dynamic History.
The NYSC Museum of Dynamic History is the brainchild of the Director General, Major General Shuaib Ibrahim. This lofty idea was conceived to document and exhibit the rich history of the NYSC from inception to date. It is also aimed at projecting the future of the scheme in order to consolidate on the achievements recorded over the years. The establishment of the museum will go a long way in projecting the good image of the scheme to the public and also provide researchers with valuable materials for their studies. The museum will also showcase the rich history of NYSC in both the print and electronic media format, with the future prospect of hosting the museum on the internet for international viewership.
NYSC Director General, Major General Shuaib Ibrahim, delivered his welcome address at the commissioning.
My background as a historian made me realize the need for the documentation of the activities of the NYSC. This gave rise to a number of activities, including the unveiling of 9 books and other publications on the activities and successes recorded by the scheme, among other documentation processes. The establishment of the NYSC Museum, therefore, is a continuation of the process. The need for a museum as a repository of historical and archival materials for an organization with such a rich history of close to 5 decades cannot be overemphasized. The NYSC Museum of Dynamic History, therefore, showcases this rich history from the inception of the NYSC in an attempt to preview the future. Archival materials in this museum have also been documented in the print and electronic media to make them more accessible to the general public. The scheme had the privilege of conducting some personalities around the museum at its take-off stage. NYSC Museum of Dynamic History has been visited by prominent national and international personalities. Prominent among them is we have the National State Governor, the Indian High Commissioner to Nigeria, the President of the United Nations General Assembly, Commandant General of the NSCDC, the First Commander of the National Joint Task Force from N'Djamena, Chad, members of the National Assembly, paramount rulers from across the country, among others. The positive comments from these individuals is a testament to the fact that the establishment of the museum is long overdue, given the unparalleled success recorded by the NYSC over the years. Artworks, painting, fabrications, and innovation by core members, especially their ingenuity in the inventions of non-pharmaceutical materials in the fight against COVID-19, have all been adequately preserved in this museum. I'm happy to report that our humble attempt to preserve history of the scheme has received so much support, as individuals have been coming forward to donate artifacts and other materials produced during their service here to be kept in the museum.
The chairman NYSC board, Ambassador Fatima Bala, who was represented at the commissioning, delivered her goodwill message and acknowledged that the museum is one of the many achievements of the Director General, which is geared towards appreciating the scheme and its achievements so far.
We are witnessing the commissioning of the NYSC Museum. It is a noble initiative of the Director General, carefully executed for the effective preservation of the scheme's records, artifacts, and legacies, including corps members, inventions, and publications. I had the privilege of inspecting the facility during some of our board meetings, and I can attest to the fact that it is an awesome and well-equipped place with the state-of-the-art facilities. I believe it will go a long way in making us realize the positives in us, the positives in the scheme, and also make it and every one of us to appreciate our past.
Mr. Sunday Dare, the Honorable Minister for Youth and Sports Development, while commissioning the NYSC Museum of Dynamic History, spoke about the achievements of the NYSC and how the museum stands as a structure for the scheme to preserve its rich history.
I'm delighted to be part of this memorable, very memorable event in the history of the country and of the NYSC scheme. I want to commend once again the visionary leadership of the scheme for not only remaining strong in the face of daunting challenges, but turning the challenges into opportunities which have continued to raise the scheme to a higher pedestal. It is worthy of note that with the complexities of today's world and the quest for foreign culture, it has become necessary to seek ways to preserve our history, and I believe that this may have informed the decision of the NYSC management to establish this museum of dynamic history so as to preserve the innovations, the inventions, the arts, the memories, and also artifacts of the core members and the scheme in general over the decades. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm pleased as the Minister to be associated with the pragmatic leadership, like I said, of the Director General of the NYSC for this initiative and many other progressive and dynamic initiatives and achievements that we have had over time. Let me also use this opportunity to call on the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture, the National Commission for Museums and Monuments, and the Federal Capital Territory Administration to facilitate the process of including the NYSC Museum in the list of museums and monuments in the country, in addition to making it among tourist sites in the FCT.
The Minister of Youth and Sports Development and the Director General NYSC officially commissioned the NYSC Museum of Dynamic History.
The Museum of Dynamic History is commissioned by the Honorable Minister of Youth and Sports Development, Honorable Sunday Dare, this 25th day of January 2022.
A round of applause for the Honorable Minister. Congratulations to all of you.
Welcome back. After the unveiling of the NYSC Museum of Dynamic History, Mr. Dewan Stephen, the curator of the museum, takes us all on a grand tour. Come along with us.
Stephen Dewan, Deputy Director of Research, Curator of the NYSC Museum of Dynamic History. The NYSC Museum of Dynamic History was created to be able to deposit the history, the very rich history of the NYSC scheme from inspection till date. It's a museum that is modern in nature because all the artifacts housed here are done in two mediums, the print and the electronic media. The museum, for convenience, is divided into 7 different halls, with each telling the story of the progress and dynamism of the NYSC scheme. The museum is a very, very important documentation of the NYSC rich history, which dates back to over 4 decades. Come along with me to see the history of the NYSC. The first hall here is NYSC at conception. We come face to face with the thinking, the vision, and the dream of the founding fathers of NYSC. In this hall, we are presented with the history of the beginning of NYSC, with the dream and vision of our great leader, General Yakubu Gowon, who in 1972 promised the nation a youth organization made up of graduates who will run a compulsory 1-year scheme so as to be able to heal the wounds of the Nigerian Civil War. And he had to consult widely, utilizing the Committee of Vice Chancellors. There were 6 of them as of that period who advised him as to the model of the scheme which Nigeria could adopt. But the suggestion of a National Youth Service Corps did not go down well with the Nigerian students who rioted, protested, and this led to the death of 2, unfortunate death of 2 students in ABU. But it did not deter the government, because the government now called the students to dialogue. And they dialogued with these students and made the students to understand the need for such compulsory service, where core members are supposed to contribute to national development and national reconciliation. With that in place, in May 22nd, 1973, the decree establishing NYSC was promulgated and has this stated objective. The decree ushered in the beginning of the NYSC scheme. So come along to the second hall. Here this is the inaugural speech of the then head of state, General Yakubu Gowon, who in his speech reiterated the importance of this scheme and also used that to inaugurate the NYSC Directorate with Professor Adebayo Adedeji as chairman of the NYSC board and Lieutenant Colonel Ali as the first Director General, then called a director. With the administrative structures put in place, it was all time for the mobilization of core members. 2,700 core members were mobilized, but 2,364 of them reported to camp. And we can see that they were all airlifted. They were given VIP treatment, airlifted to their various camps, and they received VIP reception. With all this in place, you can see how they jubilated as they embarked the planes, the airplanes that brought them to their various places, ready to serve their fatherland. A lot of them confessed that this is their first time even leaving their own homes, other parts of this country. We were guaranteed that there was going to be regular review of the NYSC scheme, as you can see by the first Director General of NYSC. And that review could be also seen in the different presentation of kits. These are the initial uniforms. You can see the face cap. This is the first inaugural cap that were used. And we got these 2 specifically from 2 donors. But on this picture, you can see 3 models, individuals who served. And this is the complete wares of uniform. It will interest you to know that all this the government did in 1973 are with the sum of just 4 million naira. With this in place, the NYSC scheme is ready for action. So come along to the third hall where you can see NYSC in action. This hall contains the different activities of core members, staff, and management of the NYSC scheme. As you can see, the Director General visiting traditional rulers, the Director General visiting past Director Generals of NYSC. The first picture is that of the Director General, Major General Shaibu, visiting Colonel P.K. Obasa, who was the third Director General of the scheme, while the second picture shows the Director General with Brigadier General Shofoluwe retired, who coincidentally is the 7th Chief Executive. And it will interest you to note that Major General Dule, who was the 8th Director General, was actually his mentor, because he was MA to him in 1996 to 1999. Here we also come to some activities of core members like Community Development Project, where they fabricated very important items that became models for so many. Like this very gas cooker, 3-in-1 gas cooker, was fabricated in 1992 by 2 core members and sponsored by Shell BP. You can see artworks of various core members. Come along and see the dual operation washing machine. I'm quite sure a lot of us have seen this, made by big companies. But this is a machine that can wash and also squeeze. It's a motorized machine that was developed as far back as the year 2000 by Joe Chukweleku. This is a farm produce dryer. A farm produce dryer also invented by a core member. This is run on both gas and electricity. It dries farm produce, such as fish and other vegetables like tomato. You can see some artworks done by core members. And these are pictures of some of our interventions at the fight against COVID-19. You are going to see more of it and more illustrations. Here is the first logo of the Director General's Corps during the tenure of Brigadier General Bomai. This inaugurated the NYSC Director General's Sports Festival in 2006. This is a portrait of His Excellency Governor Willie Obiano of Anambra State. But at that point, you will find it difficult to know how this gentleman made this. But coming closer, you will see that they are all made up of nails. It's a nail portrait of His Excellency. There is no sketch, there is no tracing. And he was able to place these points, these nails in different points. This artwork is called pointillism. This is how ingenious core members are. Come to the third hall, which still illustrates NYSC in action. Here, there are different presentations of the NYSC ventures, because the NYSC has been able to remit so much revenue to the federal government through her ventures. The bakery in Kubwa, you can see sample of the bread, and the water factory in Kubwa, the poultry farm in Kwali, and the maize farms in Bauchi. The rice farm in Kebbi are all part of the various agricultural ventures we have. The television is showing you NYSC core members at different activities. This is the SAED, skill acquisition activities. You can see the core members in the NYSC farm. We have a chronicle of the past Director Generals. Some of them got promoted while they are serving, and that's why you could see the replication of names here. but they are 18. The President Director General is the 18th Director General of the NYSC scheme, starting from Lieutenant Colonel Ali to the last that handed over to Major General Shaibu, who is Major General S.A. Kazauri. He served from 2016 to May 2019. Here we come face to face with the composer of the NYSC anthem, Pa Adediran Isaac Oluwole. He composed the NYSC scheme in 3 stanzas. But you can see this is the most popular and it's sung by everybody. Most recently, the Director General visited him, and you can see him as an elder today, well over 74 years of age. Then here is the last hall, which is called the Reflection Hall, where we reflect at whatever we have gotten. But on the screen, you can see this is our intervention in Gambia. NYSC was called in 1996 to set up the Gambian scheme. And a set of staff went. You can see them. These are our staff, NYSC staff, that initiated the Gambian National Youth Service Scheme, as it is called. These are pictures of corps members appreciating Mr. President for increasing their allowance. And these are corps members visiting Mr. President. Behind you are pictures of chief executives performing official functions. That's why they are dressed like corps members. This is the governor, former governor of Nasarawa State, Umaru Tanko Almakura. This is our great minister, Sunday Dare. This is Abubakar Sani Bello, His Excellency, the governor of Niger State, performing these functions. And last but not the least, you can see our great leader, Major General Shaibu Ibrahim, having a handshake with Mr. President. Thank you very much. This by no means, like I said, is a compilation of the history. And since it's a history of the museum is a dynamic one, we intend to put more of these artifacts as we get them into the different mediums that you have. Thank you for coming.
Nigeria serves, Nigeria we serve.
Welcome back. Isn't it fascinating to see how the scheme started and what it has achieved so far? I must say, the NYSC Museum of Dynamic History is a great innovation that documents the past, the present, and the future of the NYSC scheme.
The National Youth Service Corps, a call to service, a call to nationhood. Nigerian youths, stand up and embrace this clarion call. Wherever you are posted, accept it, embrace it. Do not harbor any fears, because your security is assured. Develop common ties with members of your host communities. You would discover that North, South, East and West, we are all brothers with common ties and a shared destiny as one nation. Do not lobby for preferential posting, for it is unpatriotic and illegal. Report at once to the orientation camp as soon as you are posted and contribute your quota to the overall development of our great nation, Nigeria. The National Youth Service Corps, building future leaders.
Wow! It is pertinent to say that the NYSC scheme has recorded so many successes over the years and truly deserves an ultra-modern museum such as the Museum of Dynamic History to document and preserve its treasures. Sadly, this is where we draw the curtains on today's episode of NYSC Half Hour. But we always love to hear from you. Please write to us on the online handles displayed on your screens right now, and we will write back. Remember, the safety of corps members in our communities is the responsibility of you and I. Until I see you next time, I am Coco Henshaw.